Hello, and welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam, I'm a real person. Today I want to talk to you about Achievement Hunter Begins on Steam. Here goes nothing. So Achievement Hunter Achievement Hunter Begins is an Achievement Hunter game. It's basically like it's a 2D platformer in gameplay, but 3D visuals, so I guess you'd call it 2.5D platformer, whatever. You can jump up to 3 times. You can jump on the heads of enemies. You have coins in the levels to collect. You can move left and right, climb up ladders. You go through portals to be teleported to another part of the level. Eventually the level will loop, and that's pretty much all you do. You can restart. If you die, all the coins reset, but the enemies don't until you restart the level all over, like from the menu. There's just the one level, and basically you do that all while just rolling in a bunch of achievements, just racking them up. That's really pretty much it. As far as the game is concerned, which it looks nice enough. It's got like a low poly, very colorful style to it. And having the controls are decent as well, with the jumps and landing on stuff. I mean, like it controls well enough, and it's something to do to kill time while getting those achievements, at least, I suppose. It's really the beginnings of what could be an okay game if they did anything with it. Downsides are more along the lines of the fact that, it's not much incentive to play it other than to kill time to getting those achievements. So once you have all the achievements, there's really no reason to ever turn this game on again. The hitboxes are a little strange. Death doesn't mean anything because you're just going to restart and you'll have to get the coins again, but eventually you'll be able to kill all the enemies. Hitboxes can be annoying because sometimes you jump on their heads and they die. Sometimes you jump on their heads and you die, and it's just because the hitbox is weird and not very precise. That's kind of annoying. The whole level looks kind of the same, so it's also kind of hard to tell eventually if you've looped or not once you've killed everyone until you find out that you've gone for a really long time without seeing any more coins. It's also a little bizarre, where there are parts where I got kind of bored with the game and I started jumping off like the edges, and it was like, oh geez, like what's out here? I'm going to do a crazy leap of faith, and sometimes I would land on invisible platforms and I thought maybe there was secret stuff there. There's not. What I found out is, I'm pretty sure what's happening is that basically it's all one big two-dimensional map. And so when you take the portals, it just moves you around visually with like a camera thing. But there's still all of the parameters of like what is and is not a platform all exists on the same plane. And so you're just landing on those platforms. And I noticed because at one point when I was like landing on invisible platforms, they corresponded with what I could see like in the distance from where I was. And I also jumped on an enemy that was there, even though I was nowhere near it spatially, the way it looked visually. And so, like, that's, that was interesting to see, I suppose. There's that to be said for it, really weird. There's also one point I found where if I jumped in a specific place, I could go and it would bring up a thing that said it was loading, and then it just wouldn't ever load anything. It just would freeze until I restarted the game. Which also is, there's not much for sound either. Like, it's pretty much just silent there after that, because like basically what happens is the music loops a little bit and then it stops and doesn't loop anymore. So the little bit of catchy music there is goes away pretty fast and then it's just gone. That's great as well, right? And the reason I'm talking about this game is because it's bringing up this topic of the genre in general of achievement hunters. So I'm just going to use this as an excuse to talk about that a bit. Achievement hunters are these basically achievement hunter games are designed in a way to make a quick buck. Other methods were not working anymore. They're starting to get harder to do that kind of thing. You can't just put a piece of shit through Steam Greenlight anymore and promise cards and free copies and shit. They're trying to make it harder to abuse the system in that way. So this was a way for people to easily obtain tons of achievements to look like they're playing really well in games and make them feel good about themselves, I guess, for a very low price. And that meant that the game didn't have to be any good because who cares? It's just a bunch of achievements they're going to get. For all you care, you can just idle the game, and you will still get them. It doesn't really matter. And then it just looks good because they think, well, I have more achievements than someone else, so it must be better than them. It makes me look good. Of course, the issue with that, and the reason why this is really stupid, is because that game is going to be worth... You're never going to turn that fucking game on. Almost all of these, you're never going to turn them on again once you have all the achievements. And also, you're not achieving anything. That's the thing. Even normal games, even good games, are not even that great necessarily with achievements. Where it's like, oh, you just get an achievement for doing things that you're doing in the game. You're not really achieving it. It's not really like a reward. It's not really a badge of honor. It's just like, yeah, you just did the thing that's in the game you have to do. And how pathetic is it that it's just like, leave the game on for X amount of seconds, then you get an achievement. That's like ridiculous. And I guess it's a disgusting, stupid thing that's either just not going to do what it is intended to do, or it's just going to be used as like a tool. And I think that's basically where we are with this one, I guess. And I think this is maybe a good spot to kind of even just wrap it up. My battery's dying too. Do you even give a shit about this? I don't. What I'm saying is, Achievement Hunter Begins is the kind of thing you would want to get super cheap or free if you wanted to have the experience of seeing what an Achievement Hunter game is like. It looked appealing enough to me visually to want to try this one out of all the shitty-looking ones I saw. And also, if you just want to have the tool of like, here's a thing you can get to get a bunch, basically paying 50 cents or whatever, however much these are, to get a bunch of achievements. And this is an okay one to do that with if you're looking for one of those two things. Just don't get it if you want to play a game. Just save that money and get an actual... Even if it's like, seems like kind of a crappy game, as long as they actually tried to make a game and not just a vehicle to give you a bunch of achievements, it'll probably be a bit better than this fucking thing. I don't know. Achievement Hunter Begins. Have you played it? What Achievement Hunter games have you played? What are the good ones? What are the worst ones? The best ones and worst ones you played. Put that in the comments, whatever you want. I don't know, man. This was a weird one, and I'll maybe link the stream of me playing the whole thing. I got all the achievements and then I stopped streaming. Boy, that was a fun. Holy shit! It wasn't even worth the review, really.